Hello everyone, today we have a video on Eye of the Storm, asked by Function, amazing YouTuber, go check him out, on this beautiful map. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of water. However, I would say this map, what matters the most tends to be the air. And why is that? Well, you see, you start here. Let's say you send an NG over here, and it gets and you send it here, and it gets bombed. In order to replace that, you need to send another one that goes all the way over here, and then goes all the way over here. Now imagine another one. You send usually two, one here and another one here. This one gets bombed. This one gets bombed. Now you need to send another one, and then another one from the base, and it takes a long time. And if you don't have air, you cannot contest enemy bombers attacking you usually. Also, the other big thing I would say is that if you don't have air, usually you send your issue here or here. Not having air can make, like, if you have an army here or if you have the issue here, you can start getting bombed, or if the enemy goes tech to air, you know they can make gunships. And then you have to go to the water, which is very quote-unquote safe, but if enemy makes only subs, then you know it's not safe. Or enemy also on tech to air can make torpedo bombers that can absolutely destroy the ACU underwater. Therefore, I would say you want to make sure you make a lot of intis. You want to keep that safe. But you definitely want also to make some navy. Because obviously, like, tech to navy exists. It's very expensive. But, like, if you don't have navy, then you cannot go in the water for safety. Units over here can get raided, units over here can get raided, units over here can get raided. Like, your main base, your air, if the enemy parks like 3 frigates here, they're gonna start getting shot by anti-air, so on. You're not gonna be able to have this. Yada yada yada. You lose a lot of map control when you don't have navy. So you want to have air, then you want to have navy, and last you want to have land. Why? Simply put, because if you have 100 tanks here, they are more like equal to like maybe 16 or 18 at most, because I can put a PD here, put like 20 tanks and like 10 RT, and it's gonna be pretty good to hold. Like, it's gonna hold a lot of army, especially like you can put just 2 PDs, and then it really becomes troublesome. Like, your opponent needs to invest a lot into RT, and you obviously just need to stop it. But it's, look at a gap this big, not a lot of units are gonna pass through here. That's the issue with like land. Like, you can cover this, you can cover this. And then if you have air, you can threaten this, and you can pretty much keep everything else, and you can pick and choose your battles, while land, this land that stays here has to stay here, because there's no fucking way it's gonna come all the way here. And then if you are Aeon or Seraphim, you have Suis or Aurora, but then again, frigates, they are just gonna turn them to shreds. Aurora do not have the range nor the speed to compete with frigates, so they get destroyed immediately, especially having 100 health. And Suis don't have the speed, and their shots are gonna miss anyways, and don't have the range, so they're gonna get shredded anyways. Anyhow, we have our BO now. Okay, so let's start our build order. We land in. We start by making a land factory. Then we want to make 2 pigeons. Is it 2? Yeah, it's 2. Then 3 mexes. We're going to move for this third one. Then we want to make another 2. We're gonna make 7 NGs, RT, 2 more NGs, and then we want to do something like this. Make some tanks, because we're not gonna need that much build power. And then after our ACU does this, we're gonna come here, do this, and then come here, do this, and then I would say probably reclaim, dun. And I would say, unless like a catastrophe happens, I will just let the ACU come here. I don't know, land factory, NG just came out. With your first engineer, you definitely want to come here. Also, let's, just for like, in case we have some idle engineers, let's give them an attack order. This is usually nice. We won't know when our engineers are AFK, like it won't show up here because they're not AFK, they will be reclaiming. But it's just nice doing it, because we usually have a couple idle engines. Our second engineer and the first one and another 3 are gonna come here. I have a nice little hotkey to select my idle engineers, so I just come here, grab it. And then I grab this guy and we're gonna make air factory, land factory, land factory, 3 pigeons I think, air factory, and then this. And now as you can see, I didn't check on this guy because I was doing out this layout, but that's okay because now these guys are automatized. I just hope they don't get bombed, because FYI, your shit's gonna get bombed a lot on this map. Then you can kinda like come here if you want, pick up a little bit more of this stuff in the way. Then I'm really not gonna bother with too much stuff. I'm gonna come here, make a radar. Then I get this engineer. I'm gonna send him to pick up this, to pick up this, to pick up this. Then to come here, here, make a land factory for me. Then I already have another engineer, and this one you want him to make these mixes. Then he can come here, reclaim this, make another radar. About our first factory is gonna come out. I usually prefer making an inti first, because usually your opponent more or less around this time is gonna have a bomber, and therefore you want to like be ready for it. But you could make the air scout first. Then we have another one here. I think this is the one with the Sui. Yeah, you're gonna send him here. You're gonna, depending on what you see, you're gonna either make this, or if any Macy is coming, you just want to reclaim as many rocks as you can. We just send the Sui in case of an enemy. What's the word? In case of an enemy engineer being there. Now we have our first air. Actually, I usually, let's put it here so we don't keep dragging over the engineers. Okay, now we have this. Usually you want to go scout enemy, see where his ACU is going. This is very vital information. We have our second factory. I'm gonna give it the same location because ACU is coming here, army is coming here. Now, as I was saying, you want to know where the ACU is going, because if you know the enemy ACU is coming underwater, for example, you don't see it coming here, you don't see it coming here, it's not on the base, then it's obviously underwater, it's coming here. Then with this engineer you want to take the rocks. If you do see it here, then you know you want to be a little bit more careful with your army, because you don't want to suicide your army or have an army where there's an enemy ACU. Like you might want to rush a PD, or you might want to invest more army this way, or more suis this way. That depends. Then these two guys, I'm gonna just send them here to be honest. Damn, I'm kinda lacking mass. Yeah, a little bit, sadly. But that's okay, I think. It's just the way things are on this build order, guys. Nothing to worry about. God, can these maxes be any faster? Can you guys come here? Then come here and then start more work on the E. Oh, I feel like I'm starting so hard this time around. Then this one you want to come here. I mean, it does seem like, yes, we do have a lot of E, but as you can see that E is slowly falling away because we're still gonna start having a lot of mexes popping out. Then this guy around here is gonna come. Done. Actually, with the AC, let's just cancel this. Why? Because I really want him to get the reclaim. Like, just come here. Pick this, then pick this two. Then pick this two, then I don't know. Plant factory, come here. And this is pretty much the map. We're still lacking a little bit of E. No, actually we do have a little bit of E. I'm gonna send one of these engineers to start making navy, because you know I just want a little bit of navy. And you keep sending in your engineers where you don't have any other engineers. Now, depending on your air, maybe you want an air fight. You might want to be like, oh shit, after this one, let's make this. And you guys can just rush this. And then these two engineers can start helping rushing the transport too. So we can have engineers here faster. Or if our opponent doesn't come to mid, we can drop on mid, etc, etc. But as you can see, we'll need a lot of E. Therefore, it's like oh, see, even with this air factory, I hope it wasn't AFK for too long. No, it was the first one. Okay, so this one was okay. But even with, like, you know, we need a lot of E, as you can see. And then with these engines, I'm gonna come here. This one, I'm gonna keep making power. we're gonna need a lot of power, as you can see. Like right now, I think maybe we'll need even more power. But then I can make this transport, and even without air, you can still make this transport. You can like sneak it, because your opponent, this is like a very straight line, and if your opponent doesn't have like a air scout, because we own the land here, he's not gonna be able to see it. If you do see that you don't have enough air, you want to start ramping up inti production, but also make an MAA in your base. And this is pretty much the map, I would say. Like, there isn't really much else to do. Like, this is how it plays. You have your first navy. You can usually do a mix of frigates and subs. The subs are very annoying. Then you have this. You can like take this. Oh, we were stalling because this guy was making this factory. That makes more sense. Because when Nexus plays, he does not make this factory because enemy ACU comes here. But yeah, other than that, you just want to continue, you know, making air, scaling your E production. Like here, I should probably have another NG helping him. And other than that, just, you know, try to keep at least 2 of these. Don't suicide units because that's gonna be reclaimed. And make sure you need to send your ACU to one of these 3. Otherwise, I think you cannot just stay here. There's no point to it. But I think you have like a pretty nice balance. This BO is a little bit like land heavy because some people go triple air for air. But by not making land, your opponent just like lets you raid a lot more. And what's the word? They need to start making PD. It's more expensive. With this army, I shouldn't have stayed here. I probably should have, like, you know, raid, because then you can raid this. And we have a lot more security here and here. However, yet again, it's what I say. It depends. Like, if I see my opponent making a lot of air, maybe I'll probably delay the navy or delay this and start making another air factory or supporting my air production more. That's why it depends a lot. Maybe my opponent is not going air. They're going for a lot of navy. If that's the case, you definitely want to... Usually, if you win air, you can go something like Inti Bomber is a good choice. Why? Because you still want to make air production. If you have so much air that, I don't know, you have 20... You don't want like to have 13 Intis and your opponent to have 5. Because you can win air, but then you don't have bombers to capitalize. Or if your opponent makes tech to mechs and they're not making air, you can still make... Like, as long as you have more air than them, and you have like an air factory making this, you can just go like this, or like make 2, 3 bombers. And then you just want to bomb, especially these places. The peaks are very hard to defend because MA takes forever to get here. So you can deny around 5 mexes, you can deny this. And if wherever enemy ACU goes, you can put bombers and pressure on the air. But now we're gonna go see Nexus's BO and we're gonna see what he did, and that's gonna be it. Okay, so here we have like the Nexus against Swkoll match. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit because, you know, the first like 5 minutes are very basic, but you know, he has his land factory, he has his NGs, oh my god, I was about to say, oh my god, don't tell me I made the BO wrong. He kinda goes for this, but he cancels that air fact later on. Then as you can see with the other NGs, they'll come here. Then the 4th one is gonna come here. Then he's gonna be like, I don't wanna make this air factory, I'm actually gonna come here. So he takes with this guy. Then he just sends it here straight. I prefer building the mexes every now and then. I mean, you can just do it if you want, but it's up to you. He sends the second one here. Then I feel like this one, yeah. Oh, he sends one of them. Oh, okay. Man, it seems like every time I show a... Let's slow it down a little bit. Every time I show a build order, I'm like, oh, wait, this is what he actually did? Oh, he makes a pigeon? Huh. Yeah, maybe I need to redo the BO, which you'll probably see fixed, but yeah, I kinda fucked that up. But anyhow, as you can see, he's sending a lot of engineers to the sides in groups of 2. He sends the ACU to one side, he goes check, we missed it. But he sees that Swkoll's ACU is not here, it's not here, it's on the water. That's what he knows. He doesn't have a lot of insane air. He does go for like a lot of air scouting, but as you can see, he's sending a lot of units here, and he's not sending a lot here. Why? I mean, there is here. Nothing is gonna get passed through here, obviously. Then his eco balance is pretty spot on. Oh my god, he sends a fourth engineer. Yeah. I need to remake the the bloody BO video, which will be fixed for you guys. But now I'll speed up a little things. Swkoll not really playing too aggressive. As you can see, we're not really getting the shit out of us bombed. He sends his arty here because he knows AC is gonna be here. Therefore, he can harass here. We do see another arty, another Sui coming here. Therefore, you can like raid this and this with a Sui. Swkoll sends one here. I think, if I'm not wrong, Nexus parks a tank here. Like, he has some units here to defend this. Here he can see the Sui. I think he sends one of his tanks over here. But other than that, it's pretty chill. Swkoll already has an engineer here. Why is the engineer is almost on the same time as the ACU, but it's already reclaiming these rocks because the engineer is faster than the ACU. Then you see a lot of air coming from Swkoll. Clearly he has more air. Therefore, where is it? He rushes an MAA. You know, he's running to the corner. But he needs to rush an anti-air. Why? Because if Swkoll comes here, cleans the air, it's gonna be a really bad time for Nexus because he's gonna get bumped here, he's gonna get bumped here, he's gonna get bumped here, he's gonna get bumped here. However, he's kinda lucky. Swkoll doesn't really scout well. I mean, the anti-air just get beat, but I think it's a little bit risky to just come here. He decides to retreat, which I think is even worse because then like he gives his back to all of Nexus's intis, and now he's on a really bad position and he loses air completely. Therefore, I would say before you do such a commit move to like clean out the enemy air, please make sure they did not build an MAA because it's very common for people to build an MAA here. Now Swkoll does not have the air, therefore his early air advantage is kinda lost right now. It's not as good anymore. And now, you know, Nexus can relax more because he has a lot of land production and he doesn't have a lot of air. He has a lot of air now, but he should have lost that battle had Swkoll, first of all, not flying to the MAA. That wasn't that big of a deal. The bigger deal was him turning and then not realizing that Nexus's intis were right there, and therefore he gave his back to them. As you can see, Swkoll dropped right here. I mean, Nexus dropped right here. He has another transport. Once you have, what's the word? Once you have air, you can start getting very greedy with the transports. Like, for example, here, this got bombed very early on. Therefore, he decides to drop 2 NGs here. And then he makes a land factory here, and then, like, he controls this area because he has his ACU here. Swkoll controls this because, you know, he has his ACU here. But he did not make land, therefore he does not control this. He could probably control it more had he not thrown his air. He could have made more bombers, put more pressure. However, he lost air, therefore he kinda loses his trump card. He does have some early navy that he's assisting hard. But Nexus is barely making any navy right now. He's gonna have a little bit of trouble because this frigate is gonna kill all of these engineers, and that's gonna slow down his production, and then he's gonna slowly lose it. Lose the navy. But he's kinda chilling. He has a little bit of air control. He has both corners. I think he got this rock that's like 300 here. Swkoll is kinda suiciding some extra reclaim. It's all going very well. He denies this and this and this to Swkoll. So he's having like a pretty good time. He has even a Tech 2 mechs, and I think he's going Tech 2 air as well. Because he made another factory, so now he can keep up with Swkoll. As you can see, he's losing the navy because 2 frigates against 1. I'm not sure if this one's gonna die, it's gonna be tight. But the point is he's not gonna have navy. And that's gonna be pretty bad because now Swkoll controls this. As you can see from Swkoll's perspective. I said from Swkoll's perspective. He knows there's not a lot of navy here. Like he has a scout here. And I'm pretty sure Nexus is not gonna build random navy here. However, a sub and a frigate do come that delay things, but this gives Swkoll a lot of peace of mind to start even raiding with Suis because there are no frigates that are gonna come in. And to be bold and make an attack here with the ACU, because here he can, like, for example, come here, reclaim the pigeons, or like just be annoying with the ACU. While Nexus can't really do it. Like, he's being annoying here, but it's gonna take him a lot of time to deal with this. However, we have another air fight against Swkoll fighting on random territory he doesn't have knowledge of. Obviously loses the air fight. You guys don't want to do this. Don't do an air fight without exactly knowing where the enemy intis are, because otherwise you'll start taking like bad fights. Like, this isn't like an awful fight, but like I just feel like it's not that good. Like, he has 3 more intis on the base, no, 4 more intis here that he's not been able to use, so he could have like probably have more intis if he waited a couple of seconds. However, from the Nexus perspective, he knows the ACU is here because he has the submarine. Very smartly finishes Tech 2 and starts rushing a Tech 2 PD while also rushing Tech 1. Why this? Because we want when the ACU comes out of the water, we want to fucking fill him up with bullets so he cannot be annoying. Then Nexus, I was about to say Nexus coming here, he takes these, he starts denying out of these mexes. Swkoll needs to make more land because he starts getting pushed here, he starts, you know, needing to be worried. Then Swkoll comes here. I think this is very ballsy of him because he doesn't really know what's in here, and his ACU alone isn't gonna do a lot. Like, even if there were no PDs, the ACU is gonna take so long to do anything meaningful, but as you can see, he's just eating so many bullets. And he has 1 frigate, and how much air? He doesn't have a lot of air. He has 10 intis, which I wouldn't call it a lot. I think this is like very risky. If Nexus can outmake his air, which as you can see, he doesn't have anything else, he just has this and this, then he's gonna have a bad time because he's just gonna get turret bombed. So I think just this case, the game is already lost just because his ACU is here. Nexus can just start making a lot of air and then just win air because obviously Swkoll just does not have the mexes to do anything else. Like, he's pretty much on a stop. Like, he doesn't have any mexes here, he doesn't have any mexes here. Nexus has about 10k actually, 10k mass ahead. So, and his ACU is like in a fucking god awful position. He's just hitting bulk shots from attack to PD. He's on sub 5k health. I mean, if he stays on their land, he can get attacked by gunships or the land. There's a lot of land production here that the ACU cannot compete with. Or even worse, he can get torpedo if he goes to the water. So he's fucked, no matter what he does. Even if he wins like the air fight, it's just not going to be enough to save the ACU, I believe. Because he just does not have any mass or any map control. It's pretty bad, while Nexus does have quite a lot. Nexus here does like a little air fight. It's a little bit messy. The engines from Swkoll target this, the transport, but then he just controls Skate. I mean, just look at the purple here and here, and look at the lack of red. That's pretty much it. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. Yet again, remember that these build orders are very messy. You know, your engineers get raided. But I would say definitely what you want to keep is you want to make like a little bit of navy, just to, like, you know, have a presence. Don't let them just make 3 frigates and absolutely control the pond. You do absolutely need air, because if you don't have air, you can get bombed everywhere else. Like, this army needs to have MAA, because otherwise it's gonna get bombed. But like, how do you protect these mechs, this? You gain control to this because it's undefendable without air. Then you can raid even these two, you can raid these two, you can raid this army. Like, you know how much MAA Nexus has to make because he might not have air. This could all be tanks. If they were all tanks, you know, he would have like an easier time breaking through here. Same here, if he had like all of them tanks, he would have an easier, like if this was all tanks and this was all tanks, he could just pincer attack this and pretty much destroy this at the very least, I would say. Like, he would probably take this out pretty surely, because the PD stops the raid from here, but it doesn't stop the raid from here, and that's gonna be brutal. And that's pretty much it. Eye of the Storm is a very volatile map, I would say. So a lot of things can change. Maybe your opponent doesn't go navy at all and they just go with an insane amount of air and just absolutely crush you. Or maybe they don't really make that much air, but you don't really punish them and they get away with it. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I would not recommend making Tech 2 Navy because there's not a lot of mass. I would recommend more going Tech 2 Air. It's more efficient. Tech 2 Navy takes so much mass to A, get the upgrade for the HQ, and second, making Navy. So no, don't make Tech 2 Navy, make Tech 2 Air. It's much better. Making Tech 2 Navy it's like a last resort sort of thing, I would say. I mean, if you make Tech 2 Navy and you win it, clearly you fucking just obliterate your opponent's base and you win the game. But by doing so, you need to have an obscene advantage over your opponent to be doing that. And even then, you are giving up a lot of time for them to recover and do a... What's the word? Fuck. A comeback. They're gonna do a comeback because you're spending like 3k, 4k mass on Tech 2 Navy. But yeah, thank you guys. If you have any questions, comment it out. Otherwise, have a good one.